Les, hey, man.
Good morning. How are you, Joe?
I'm doing well. It's an honor, my friend. An honor to have you on the show. How's life?
Life is doing great, and thank you for having me up this morning. I'm looking forward to talking to you, and feel like we know each other because I've seen you so many times.
Absolutely. You to me are a Nashville staple, a Nashville icon, and it's so good, Les, that you're still making music, still getting out there, entertaining the fans. So when I got the message that you got the show out in Bellevue tonight and you're still touring, that really made me smile, man. So how are things going for you overall?
Things are going great, especially now that I can sing and see the people that I'm looking at. I did 67 consecutive weekly shows from my house. In fact, what you're seeing behind me often showed up on the internet because I would go from room to room every week trying to make it interesting, you see. I called it the live from home tour. We did a t-shirt. It was incredible. And so seriously, we had a t-shirt, and you can't have a t-shirt without the tour dates on the back. So the back of my T-shirt said event locations, living room, bedroom, kitchen, hallway. I will tell you that I never did one from the bathroom. I had my standards. So, but it's great to be out singing for people that I can talk to and look at and shake their hands and really get some response from.
Yeah, that is so good. And how long did you grow up in Nashville?
No, I grew up on the Mississippi Gulf Coast, Pascagoula, Mississippi. It's my hometown, right in the upper part of the Gulf Coast. But I have lived in Nashville and I've lived in Bellevue for 35 years. I've been up here quite a while.
My goodness. So now that I know that you're from Pascagoula, I'm knocking Jimmy Buffett down to number two on the list.
Well, I'm in good company there. Thank you very much.
That's great. All right, so you continue. So what brought you to Nashville?
Well, music originally, but there's so much more to living here that I'm so proud to be able to be a part of. Nashville's just a good place to live. And I found this out in 1987 when I moved here. And I remember coming to Nashville in 1973. I was between my junior and senior years in high school. And a friend of mine named Phil Howell and I came up from Pascagoula. We somehow sweet talked our parents into letting us come up for a long, I would say we were here for at least a week. And we stayed at Roger Miller's King of the Road Motor Inn. That tells you how long ago it was. Uh, but we were able to see the Grand Ole Opry the last year. It was still at the Ryman Auditorium. And that was a very big thrill. We got to see Porter and Dolly when they were still a duet. We got to see Tex Ritter and String Bean and people that were not around much longer after that. So it was great to sort of get a taste of Nashville. And then after that, I got into broadcasting. I wanted to be the Joe Dubin of my hometown. And so I ended up as a radio news director. I got a degree in journalism from Ole Miss and ended up doing broadcast news for quite a while. But then my heart was always in music and always in Nashville. And the whole time I was in radio, I was playing up and down the Gulf Coast from that corridor between the Florida Panhandle, the Alabama Gulf Coast, Mississippi Coast into New Orleans, where I've also spent quite a bit of time. So anyway, all that led me to come to Nashville when I was about 30 years old, and I've been here ever since.
That's fantastic. We're at your website up, leskerr.com. Now, you talk about tours, and we're going to pop up some tour dates you got coming up. You got a show tonight out in Bellevue. Tell us about the show tonight, Les.
Well, as I mentioned, I've lived in Bellevue, which is, of course, where all the stars live. And I have enjoyed being here. This is ever since I've lived in Nashville, I've lived in Bellevue. I just love the neighborhood. And I've lived at several different places, and I still do. And there's a concert series that happens in June out at our wonderful city park, which we nicknamed Red Caboose Park. And it's so nice that they're having these concerts again. Of course, we went for a few years without it, and they started them back last year. So every Friday night in the month of June, they have a different musical act, and we are honored to be one of them. I actually performed at the rededication of Red Caboose Park when they reopened it back in September of 2019. And I was honored to be asked to do that. That was great fun. And so I love playing out here because I know so many people, and I'm looking forward to seeing a lot of my neighbors tonight. And whether I'm playing there or not, whoever's playing there always gets a great response. And I love that whole ambiance of celebrating the park and the people out here in my own neighborhood. I love the fact that, and as you know, as a traveling person yourself to do interviews and wherever you go, you're always watching your mileage. My total mileage from my house is about 12 miles back and forth where I'm playing tonight. So I really like that.
Right. Yeah, that should only cost you $30 in gas right now. All right.
That's
So
right.
you're describing your music. I love it. Enjoy the hillbilly blues, Caribbean rock and roll. Describe that in more detail, if you don't mind.
Well, people, when I moved to Nashville, people used to ask me what sort of music I played and that I wrote. And growing up on the Gulf Coast, I heard so many different musical styles, rhythm and blues and jazz from New Orleans, country, gospel, and bluegrass from South Mississippi and South Alabama. A lot of good old rock and roll. And many people don't realize that so much rock and roll originated from the city of New Orleans. And growing up so close to there on the Mississippi coast, I heard a lot of it. In fact, we knew who Dr. John was long before his, nationwide, fame came along. So I loved everything from rockabilly to big band. It just kind of put it all together. And my game plan is, if you play enough different styles of music, people are bound to like some of them. So that was my whole strategy, and it seems to have worked.
All right. Are you going to play something for us?
I do have my guitar, so I'll be happy to play for you.
All right, let's hear it, brother. Take it away, my man.
All right, this is a song, and I think this might be the only song I'm aware of that actually mentions Bellevue. Now, there are a lot of songs about Nashville, there are a lot of songs about trains, but this is a train song that was inspired by the train that went by and still does go by the intersection at Bellevue Road and Old Harding. My first house in Bellevue was not far from there, and I noticed that I could hear it. When I was growing up, my grandfather, after he retired from working on the railroad, told me a lot of things about railroad lore and railroad history. And to this day, one of the things he told me that is still true is that when trains come to a crossing, they have to make 4 whistle blasts every crossing: 2 long blasts, a short blast, and a long blast. And in my effort to remain as obscure as possible, I thought that would be a great idea for a song. So I wrote this one. And this is called 2 Longs, a Short, and a Long. Listen for the Bellevue reference. It happens every time the chorus comes around. Here we go. And if you notice, when you hear a train whistle coming at a crossing, you're sitting there going, oh my gosh, I wish the train would go by. Before it gets to the crossing, you'll hear this. 2 longs, a short, and a diesel locomotive's crossing the song. 140 every morning, roll through Bellevue, then you're gone. 2 longs, a short, and a long. This time of night, there's no need to slow down. I'm all through a sleeping little town. You pass the torn down market and the old Masonic Hall. You ain't disturbed at anyone at all. 2 longs, a short, and long. A diesel locomotive's crossing the town. 140 every morning, roll through Bellevue, then you're gone. 2 longs, a short, and a long. I begin to ramble in my mind when I hear you up and down the line. I want to climb into the cab and let you take me far away, but I'll wake up right here come wake up day. 2 longs, a short, and a long. A diesel locomotive's crossing the sun. 140 every morning, Bellevue, then you're gone. 2 longs, a short, and a long. You could set a railroad watch by that old crossing there. You're always right on schedule with your lonesome tale to diesel engines, headlights burning bright, pulling freight and tank cars through the night. Your home railroad memories, I just can't turn loose. You cannot couple dreams like an old blues. 2 longs, love's a short and long. A diesel locomotive crosses one for every morning road. Love you, then you're gone. Too long is a short and a long. Too long is a short and a long. Too long is a short and a long.
Yeah, Les Kerr, fantastic. Les, we're going to put up the website again, once again, to see where you're playing. Now, you're playing tonight out in Bellevue. You're also doing something at the airport?
Yes, we do the Arts in the Airport concert series, and basically we play for a couple of hours, and I'll be there with my trio. This one will have Brent Stoker and Ken Osmick joining me on saxophone and acoustic guitar, and we play as people arrive. We did it just recently for all the people coming to Bonnaroo. We played for thousands of people from all over the country as they were arriving, and we enjoy doing that, and we do it several times a year. So it's just a great opportunity to see people from all over the world that come to Nashville. And we see a lot of people that we know because they're there greeting people, they're waiting. And we do it at the Green Bean Coffee Company, which used to be the Starbucks out there, if you know where that is, in the airport itself. Yeah.
So, and I'm going down, you're playing the Bluebird on July 6th. Les, you're busy, my man.
Well, I'm very excited about the Bluebird. That just came in recently, and we play there several times a year. We've done 31 consecutive Mardi Gras shows at the Bluebird Cafe. Wow. Every Fat Tuesday for 31 years, that's where we've been. Even during the pandemic, we did the show with the full band, but with no live audience in the club. That was interesting, but the Bluebird has been very good to me over the years. I started playing there when I first got to Nashville. In fact, it was the very first stage I ever walked on in Nashville, Tennessee, when I became a resident. And that was the good old show up and sign up writers' nights. And I started doing those way back then. And I had this little circuit of writers' nights that I would do around town, because you can find one every night of the week, at least one. And so I started doing that. But the Bluebird's been very good to me over the years. And we're also performing on July 3rd as part of Nashville's official July 4th weekend. They're calling it Let Freedom Sing. And on the Sunday afternoon, the 4th is a Monday. This Sunday, the Sunday the 3rd, we'll be at Walk of Fame Park, right there across from the Country Music Hall of Fame, the Bridgestone, and the Skilmerhorn. Excuse me. And so we'll be doing that at 2 o'clock on the 3rd of July with the full 6-piece band. We'll also have the full band at the Bluebird as well. So whenever I can, I bring in the saxophones and the keyboards, and we have a big old time.
It's an honor to have you on the show, Les. I think you are one of the reasons that makes Nashville fantastic. And so much success. We'll get together again down the line and promote some more things you got going on. It's an honor, Les. Thank you again.
Thank you, Joe. And thanks to Main Street Nashville. Y'all are doing a great job.
All right. Thank you. Les Kerr. Go to the website, leskerr.com. He is truly fantastic. He's been in Nashville, like he said, for a while. I've seen him countless times. The shows are so good and it's so unique. Again, it makes Nashville really special. So again, thank you, Les Kerr.